Scott had a question. Have you ever had problem with writer's block or just trouble getting motivated? Yes, all the time. I think this is definitely one of those things that there are some things that you can do to avoid it. Actually, it was interesting. At the end of last week, I was wanting to write some music, and I was just having a really hard time. With things. And so here's some suggestions of ways to beat writer's block. The very first is listen to music. Listen to a lot of music. I have, I go to the gym every day, and when I go to the gym, I listen to music, and I'm finding playlists with music that I've never heard before, specifically, and I am shuffling them, and then I am adding songs that I like, that are really different and unique, that are doing something unique that maybe I've never done before. I add that to a playlist, and that becomes an inspiration playlist. So when you're thinking about, man, I'm feeling really stuck, I'm feeling blah, 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 literally go find a Spotify playlist that you have never listened to and that you know is going to have a lot of music that you have never heard before in a style of music that you would like to create. Start going through it, shuffle it. And whenever you find a song that actually stops you in your tracks, and you're like, ooh, dang, that's really good. Melodically, it's really good. Lyrically, it's really good. Those sounds are crazy. The drums are crazy. Some other things like that. That's when you take that and you add that to an inspiration playlist. I do this every single day. Every single day, I am exploring new music that I've never heard before. Specifically, I don't go re-listen to my favorite songs because it's a waste of time. I've already heard them. They're already baked into my brain. Why would I go listen to them again? Because then they're just going to make me sound like all the things that I've ever done before. I want to sound like something new. I want to hear things that are like, whoa, that's different. I've never heard that before. That's super unique. And so that right there is why I really encourage people to go find playlists that you've never heard before with new music, shuffle it, and then add those songs to another playlist that you create that's going to be for inspiration to help you get new ideas. That's the very first thing. The second thing is that there is a difference between burnout and taking a break. Taking a break is very healthy. Like this song right here, I had the start of this song after giving myself a couple days to just breathe without writing anything. I was mixing stuff, and I'll get to that point in a second because there's another really good point here. I gave myself a breather from writing and producing new stuff, and that allowed me to kind of just regenerate. Like, we have to think about our creative ability as like a cup of water, that when you drink a cup of water, you're losing water at every time. So whenever you write something, whenever you produce something, you are tapping into a well of creativity that is finite. It is not infinite. You do not have an infinite amount of creativity at any given time. And it is very normal that you're going to have a very large expenditure of creative energy sapped and ripped out from you because you're pouring so much into something, maybe a song, maybe 2 songs, maybe 5 songs, it doesn't matter. But everyone is going to have a certain amount of creative energy that they can tap into. And then when you tap into that, you got to replenish it. So you can replenish it by taking a break. You can replenish it by listening and analyzing and really listening to music, like not as a casual listener, but as the type of listener where you're thinking, I want to learn from this. Like, what things can I actually pull from this and utilize as inspiration? That brings me to the next point. The other thing that you should do is you should always have songs in different stages of production. This is what we call just being efficient. If you have all songs, like 10 different songs that are all in different stages of production, that right there is going to help you when you are feeling writer's block. Because maybe you're feeling creatively stuck with writing music. Great. Mix something. Have something that's in that mixing post-production phase that you can go to. That's what I did the first start of this week, Monday, Tuesday, this week. I was finishing up mixes. So I finished three mixes that they're shipped off for mastering now. And so I highly recommend that you have songs that are all in different phases, different stages. I have some songs that are literally just piano and in a lyric or a melody, and that's it. And I know I'm going to come back to that when I'm ready to come back to that. But then I have these songs that are like this, that's all the way in the produced phase, ready for vocals. And I have other songs that are literally just voice memos on my phone. Having things in different sections, different places is going to help you be in a situation where when you feel stuck, you can afford to be stuck for a couple days. Because you're not actually stuck, you're just working and diverting that attention and energy somewhere else. The last thing I would say for writer's block is study theory. I know that that's like kind of controversial, but there's no negative to studying theory. There is no negative. None. Like whenever I hear people say like, oh, if I learn theory, it's going to strip me of creativity. Like I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, I'm sorry. If you believe that, that's freaking stupid. Like it's not intelligent. I studied theory. There's a lot of theory that I know that I'm never going to use. I'm never going to use matrix-based theory in my music. This is dumb. I'm never going to use it. Does that make me less creative? Of course not, because I just choose not to use it. So this is one of those things that I think that if you can learn chords, harmony, melody, understand rhythm, that's invaluable. If you learn theory, you're really ultimately learning how to pull the curtain back from music and understand what's happening, the gears, the intricacies of what is happening with music. This song right here is utilizing a chord progression that's not a very typical chord progression. Why? Well, because I know how to. I know how to because I've studied theory and I know what I can do. I know how to utilize things like mode mixture. I know how to utilize modulation in a way that's not going to sound bad. And I know how to do that because I've studied theory. There's no negative to studying theory. I think the problem with theory is that most universities teach it in a very sterilized and mathematical way and not a creative way. If you can learn theory through the lens of composition, through the lens of how to actually make and write better music, that is the best way to learn theory. If you're learning theory as just a mathematical equation, don't do parallel fifths because parallel fifths, blah, blah, blah. You should focus on contrary motion. In some ways, sure, that's great. That's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But if you're approaching it like a science, not good. That's the big beef, the big problem I have with music schools. I went to music school. I took 4 years of music theory. I took very advanced music theory. And the problem I experienced was that most of it is just geared in such a way that it is basically like math. And I think that is a horrible way of approaching music theory because that's how you get people who hate music theory. That's how people hate it. You need to be approaching music theory through the lens of how can I actually just make better music with this? So that's something that I've been working on, trying to think through, like, how can I build content around that? Because it is a little bit of a niche topic, but it's related. So I can get on that for a while. But as far as tackling writer's block, if you're doing all of those things strung together in combination with each other, I think you're going to find that you can put out a huge amount of music. It's about efficiency. It's about thinking strategically. So when I'm working on music, I'm working on a large swath of music. At one time, they're all in different parts of the process so that if I'm feeling stuck in one, I can go to the other. And that typically is going to kind of jumpstart the other thing that I'm feeling stuck with. Hopefully that helps you.